and welcome to Sporting Jibberish. I'm Stuart Booth.
And I'm Jack Luffman.
Let's start with a difference then. We just little thumbs
So,
up.
your Bella is great.
Harry's been, just out of interest for people at home, Harry's been doing videos for school.
Oh, is he?
And when he does his bit where the students then have to go and practice their stuff, he does this, he goes, and now it's your turn.
Oh, very good.
So the people listening have like no idea what's going on here, but people watching on YouTube, it's good to look. So people are listening, also have to check the YouTube out because it's quite
good. We're getting quite a lot of views on there.
Yeah, doing well. Right, okay, on today's show we are talking football, we'll be talking a little bit of cricket. Right, it's got a special on the football, haven't we? For the delight.
Oh yes, a new
We've
special.
got
A
live special.
When we get to it, we're going to join somebody live.
Yeah, it could all go wrong because technology is involved and it's me and Jack in charge, so anything could happen. Also, another special, we've also got a certain person returning to the show after
Yes.
maternity leave.
In fact, I had one. Did you see on Twitter, Mr. Pascoe was calling for him, calling for his return. So
are we that bad that they did desperate?
I don't know. You read it how you like, but yeah. So our man, Mr. Larkin, will be back later in the show for his tips ready for the
group stage. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later because there's plenty to talk about. Apart from if your name's Jack and you got knocked out. But what we'll do is we'll start with our sporting week. So Jack, pretty quiet for you?
Yeah, because obviously there was no game and didn't play any of the games because obviously it was my birthday weekend. So had a fabulous time thanks to the wife and yourselves. Organised this, supplied. I had absolutely no idea. And you know I didn't, did you?
No. So for the people out there, we decided to go to Maidan Race Course. Jack didn't know myself and my wife were going to be there, so we surprised him with a little bit of in-room celebration.
Yeah. And that's not like what it sounds, by the way.
No. This is a clean show. And then we went downstairs for something to eat and a few drinks, and there was a few more guests.
A few more people there, it was very good.
We even had a celebrity come and take a picture of you.
We did, I can't say his name.
Khabib.
The UFC fighter was in the same building and was actually taking a picture of me wearing my silly 40th hat, and then I was like, I wasn't quite sure it was him, to be fair. I got you, didn't I? And on the way to the toilet, I went, oh, hang on a minute, backtrack, really, what's this, is this definitely him? And I go to the toilet and this, I've had a picture with him.
Yeah, so I went over and I said, hi, Mr. Khabib, you okay? And he's like, yeah. I was like, in charge for a picture? He's like, yeah, of course can. Followed Matt behind me, I didn't realise he was behind me, so I get a picture of Khabib and I'm walking up and Matt's going, excuse me, Mr. Khabib. And everybody knows Matt will know how nervous he is. He's like, can I get a picture too, please? And then Mr. Khabib's going, yeah, of course you can. And then Matt's realised he's not got his phone. So then he's turned around and he's going, Stu, can I use your phone? I was like, no. And I walked off. I got about 6-7 steps. I thought, that's not very nice. So I went back, gave him my phone. He took a picture. I got my phone back. And then I told him he wasn't going to copy the picture.
He kept saying to me, he will give me that. So I said, I don't know, will he? Don't know,
I left him about half an hour without giving him the picture.
Then he was straight on the ground money with it. But no, it's a cracking night, absolutely cracking night. Don't feel a day older. I was a bit rough to begin with the next morning, I must admit. That pool was a bit of a struggle.
But we got there in the end.
We got through it. And then
a belated happy birthday, Jack.
Thanks, mate.
And then we had news about Barrichello was going to run, but then didn't run, and now he's booked in for the 1st of March at a maiden in Ayr.
So he's going up to Bonnie, Scotland, as I said to you.
That is correct. So we'll keep you posted on that and see if it happens. But Monday the 1st of March, 1:45 at Ayr. So hopefully he'll be running then.
And you've had a busy two games of football, 2 nights of football this week.
Yeah. So I played on Sunday night. We played against City FC's under-18s, who were currently top of our division. The gaffer went with the game plan of let's play 4 defenders, 2 strikers. Well, it's more like 1 striker and 1 around the striker. Let's just lob the ball up front and see how we get on, because these lads are talented footballers. So the game plan went well. At half time we found ourselves 4-1 up, doing really well. And then second half we actually lost the half 2-1 but won the game 5-3.
Excellent. And you scored 4?
No, 3. They put 4 down the team sheet, but yeah, I scored 3. And 1 for honesty, I will not take the other goal. 3 goals, 2 assists, so job done.
Good. And then Wednesday you play for both teams?
Yes, so Wednesday I get a text message in the daytime saying the other team's short, is anybody that can help out? The wife said she was going out something to eat, so I was like, when we sat at home, I may as well just go up there, get a bit of a run out. So we get there and our manager is running their team because their manager's having to play because they're short players. So me and Graham from our team were there to help them out. Anyway, the game's 0-0 and our manager's going, I don't really want to throw you on because we've got a big game after this. So I'm like, okay. So we spent most of the first half on the bench, and then a couple of minutes to go, their centre forward took a bit of a knock, so they chucked me on for a few minutes. half time came, centre forward was back, so he went back onto the pitch and I stayed off the pitch again. It was 0-0 with about 10 minutes second half gone, and he chucked me and Graham on. Managed to set one up, score one, and I got Shepherd hooked. It was like, Stu, off you come again. Your night's work here is done.
Very good. And then your big game for the first team was a draw, is that right?
Yeah, it was a strange game. We had lots of good opportunities first half, found ourselves 1-0 down. We managed to equalise. Then we went 2-1 down, pulled it back to 2-2, and this was with about 8 minutes to go. We brought it back to 2-2, and I thought we're going to go on and win this. I couldn't see them getting a sniff. They were dead. We'd played some good football, and we'd moved them around, and they just couldn't quite get near us. And they were tiring. They were rotating us up quite quickly at this point. So I was thinking, this is just ours to win. And then a slight error where we don't quite get a footing on this lad. It's fallen to their centre forward. He's hit an absolute, like, zip this ball well past goalkeeper. 3-2 down with 4 minutes to go, and I'm like, oh no. And then I put one on a plate for somebody, he's put it over the bar, and I'm just thinking, there's nothing going to happen. And literally, Jerry picks the ball up, he does a diag towards the back post, and as the ball's coming to me, I've lost the defender. I'm just thinking, I'm just going to head this back across goal. There's got to be somebody running in. Somebody's got to appear, run in, and then finish it. So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. And just as the ball comes to me, I just see the goalkeeper just run out and go right across the line of my vision. I'm like, it sounds really bizarre. I think if you play sport, you can appreciate how slow things move at times. When you don't appreciate sport, they're like, how on earth do you get that processing? But I think when you play sport that much, it just seems to go in slow motion. I just realised at that point there was nobody in the goal. So then rather than going across the goal, I just angled my head and just headed towards the goal. Not particularly aiming anywhere in the goal. Anyway, it just bounced into an open net. And then as the ball's gone in, the referee's blown his whistle, but done like a weird whistle. So I'm like, has he disallowed it? Anyway, he's blown for full time.
Oh, that's minute.
So it was literally the last touch of the game, which put us as a 3-3 draw. They were a good team. So I think now that puts them, they've lost one, the team we drew with, lost one and drawn one. We have 3 games left of the season. One's against our other team, and then the other 2 teams are not all that. So if we win all the games, we win the league.
And you must be flying, because that's 5 goals. You top of the league goal scorer, must be.
So yeah, the league goal scorer is not updated itself. So there's a guy on 11, and I'm currently on about 13, 14, but I've got goals to be added on. So I'll go up to, I think, about 17, 18. But yeah.
Games again next week, yeah.
Yeah, so on for winning the league, which I predicted. Top goal scorer, as I predicted, Jack. Yeah, at least one of us pulling our weight.
Yeah, we've got a game Saturday though against actually the reigning season 8, so the State Part 1 season 8 champions, Chieftains, who allegedly throw a bit of cash around apparently. So decent game. Looking forward to that. We are not at full strength, put it that way. I've just said to you that I came in 15 years or whatever, 20 years of playing at a decent level and 15 years of sort of captaining, etc. I've come across some excuses or some reasons for not playing, but one that says I'm doing some clothes shopping is probably up there with one of the best.
It's a disgrace. It's a shot.
So a bit harsh, but yeah. So we're not at full strength. So ultimately it's down to myself, Clint, Jay, Dave. You know, the big.
Yeah. So it's about time you stepped up. But at the end of the day, you know what? If you come in next week and you say to me, I scored 10. But all the team fell apart around me and I was 10 not out, I'll accept that. If you come in and say I got 3 and I was out, I'm just going to be like, Jack, you're all woeful.
We'll see. Saturday afternoon, we're going well.
Right, we will see. Right, okay, while we're on the theme of cricket, we're going to be talking about what is currently a potential disaster happening for England.
You remember, start as it happens, as we came on to do the live, England were just gone 5 down. Oh my God, 77 for 7.
So as you guys listen to this, we are obviously recording this the day before, so it's Thursday afternoon for us.
So England are currently 77 for 7 with a one lead of 44. Just look who's still in.
So by the time you've listened to this, India would have won the second one.
So yeah, so I mean, there's obviously something. We talked about pitches last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
And this is obviously the pink ball, so they said it was going to swing under lights and stuff, which is why England, I think, rightly only playing one spinner. Not necessarily because of that, but I don't think the off spinner they've got, Bess, Ali's gone home for his period of rest. Bess, I don't think it's good enough, and the other ones they've got in the squad have never played, so So I personally think they picked the right side.
I think so because having done a bit of research on the ground, the actual wicket's a little bit green as well, isn't it?
But
So
it was.
It's designed for a little bit more pace.
Yeah, and then anyway, it's not. I mean, England's first innings under the 12 all out when you win the toss is abysmal. But India not much better, 140 all out. Joe Root 5 wickets for 8 with his off spinners, and now England are struggling. So, as much as I said to you last week about, I don't think the pitch was that bad. I think this one looks like it's a little bit worse, and potentially. I don't change my view, but it's still, like I said last week, it's still got to be good enough for Test match cricket, and that suggests that it's not good enough for Test match cricket.
So has he made the mistake then by going into bat first? Because at the moment, I know a few England fans were saying that if you win the toss, you tend to win the game. Obviously, England won the toss and decided to chuck themselves in.
Yeah. No, I don't think. I think it's the right decision still, because I think technically in the subcontinent, whatever pitch it starts off at, you don't want to be batting fourth to chase a total. Yeah. So, like there, we're saying that England are 77 for 7, the lead of 40 something. I'm telling you now, if they can get to 100, they've got an outside chance. And that is not. I mean, what are we? So it's a day-night game. So we're about into session 5 of a Test match, and we're into innings 3. So it could be over in 2 days. That as bad as some of the batting that I've seen has been, and as good as some of the bowling has been, that says to me that the pitch isn't good enough.
You'd be devastated if you've got day 4 tickets. Right, quick question from me. Bairstow come back in?
Yeah, I think he's always going to come back in. He went home for that rest.
So do we think
back to pair?
Well, I was going to say, is that rest obviously?
Yeah, because obviously
detrimental to him.
Let's be honest, it's not been that long since the end of the Sri Lanka tour. So he would have spent, when he went back to England, I don't know how long he would have had to spend in quarantine, in the cold and the wet and all that kind of stuff. He's then obviously flown to fly back, so I don't know how long he's spent. 2 weeks maybe, something like that, in England with a bit of free spirit. He's then had to fly, same with Wood actually, he's had to fly back and then he's had to quarantine again in India. So I don't know, it's an argument, isn't it? It pulls up that other argument that, like I said last week, if you're going to rest, I get that, but I don't know.
Why was Crawley so effective then? Because he's done exactly the same.
No, Crawley has been out on the whole tour, but Crawley would have played in the first Test match, but he slipped over and injured his wrist on his spikes on the dressing room floor during practice. So he didn't play in the last Test match because he was injured.
In effect,
the first 2 Test matches.
In effect, they both had gaps of similar.
But I would say it's because Crawley's been out there and been acclimatised. And actually, the jury's still out for me best as a Test match cricketer. White ball, I don't think you can argue with him once he got his chance, because Alex Howes sort of messed up. So he got his chance in white ball cricket to open the top innings with Jason Roy. Can't argue what he's done there, and 100% he'd be in my white ball team, T20 ODI. I'm still out there on his Test match. I can see why they want him in the squad, in the team at 3, because if he can get in, he scores positive scores quite quickly. But I wouldn't be bending over backwards to get him into the Test match side, is my honest opinion.
Okay, right. So England on the verge of another ropey collapse, but at the same time, I realise that the Pakistan Super League.
The PSL is going on. Yes.
And then the IPL is.
So the IPL PSL's going on. The IPL auction happened last week. Bizarre thing. That's basically all day. The reason they're flabbergasted. Chris Mice, the South African, became the most expensive player in IPL history. In an auction, just bizarre. He's bang ordinary, Stu. But I can't tell you how ordinary that is.
Is it a bit like eBay but for cricket players?
Absolutely right. And again, it just shows. I think I've mentioned it before in the squad that I think Big Bash and T20 England and the 100 that's coming to England next summer is that yes, the addition of overseas players clearly improves the quality, and that's what you want, because whatever format of the game you play, you've got to try and get it for the best. So the best rise to the top, so you've got something to pick from for your England side. Same in football. And actually I'd say the same in football with this, but so many, I think, really average cricketers, because they've had a bit of a good tournament here or a good tournament there, or they've got a fancy name, or they're from the fashionable T20 playing country at the minute. A little bit like, in football when we suddenly get quite a lot of African players in the African Nations Cup, but are they any better than what we've got in our academies at football and cricket? And my answer would be no. So therefore, I don't think bringing them across to play in under England's Big Bash or whatever we call it is actually a positive thing. And that's the point about the IPL, that ultimately don't really care about Indian cricket, but there's some bang average players getting some hefty wallow in the back pocket plants.
See, now, if you'd been performing a little bit better with your bat, you could have been in there.
I turned down a gig in the Pakistan Super League, mate, because I've got work.
Yeah.
I've got A-levels and IBs to prepare kids for.
A-levels aren't happening.
I can't be going across to the Pakistan Super League and playing in that.
And earning millions of pounds for that.
I can't be doing that.
So there's commitment for you. If anybody from Gens is listening, Katie Hart, if you're listening right now, you need to get hold of this guy. Get him in corporate office.
I got into a training session on the bus on the way back from my vaccine, as well as turning down the PCR. That's how dedicated I am.
You are. So is that your rant about the 100 over?
No, the 100 I just put on there because I'm not going to go into whether we should do it. It's a bizarre franchise thing that ECB should have started this last summer. It's going ahead this summer. Again, their final auction thing happened or whatever, but they didn't do it live. They just released them over the course of a day. Some good name players in that. Some Australian, like Warner and people, some top-rated players coming across in that. Franchise cricket in England should have come a long time ago. Whether it should be in this format and a format on top of everything else that's going on is a debate for another day. But what was the positive? At the same time that was happening, Boris announced his sort of roadmap for freedom, let's say, and it looks like all things going well. And if you behave in the UK, people, that the only way you get your freedom come May, June, that actually there'll be some fans there. And they're doing like, there's the women's and the men's tournament side by side. You can buy a ticket for something like £15, £20, family ticket to get you to both games.
Oh, nice.
So it's really good.
I tell you what, I'm just interested on that.
So I might treat you in the summer when we're in Manchester.
If we make it back.
Yeah.
Just interesting on that is I saw something come up the other day, is that all the pubs are due to be open by a certain date in the summer. Was it Boris's birthday? Is like 3 days after the pubs are open?
21st is when they're meant to come out of no restrictions or whatever. It's his birthday, the 22nd.
Something like
so
that.
I saw something that they should make. They're trying to make a petition to call it Boris Johnson's bank holiday. Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
They'll do anything for a bank holiday.
But yeah, cricket rant over. But you never know. If England can get 100 lead, they might be 2-1 up.
Okay, so we're predicting by the time you probably listen to this, it'll all be over with.
Yeah, 100%.
Jack's well wrong. Right, okay. Interesting, we're going to go to football.
Yeah.
Is he ready, or should we wait? Keep him a little bit longer?
Don't know, should we go there first?
Right, okay, so we'll start with the Premiership. What is going to happen now? I'm going to cross everything. Fingers, legs, I don't know what else is it, toes.
Everything.
And hope this goes well. So as a first, what we are doing today is we've actually asked somebody in Dubai to watch a fixture. And what we're going to do is part of the features, we're going to go to that person, have a little bit of a chat with them, let us know their viewpoints, because obviously ours may be tainted a little bit. So we are, on a click of a button, on the countdown of 3, we are going to go live with our guest presenter today. So go 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Premier League section. We are going to go to a new feature today, Jack.
I know, you're looking forward to this show. Yeah.
Well, it's not just me that's looking forward to it.
Some Larkin series, I was excited.
He's about to appear. So we are going to go to our new segment. It is our feature game, and we've actually had somebody, or some unsuspecting fool, that's a bit harsh. We've had some unsuspecting person watch the game for us, and we're going to have a bit of a chat to him now. We're going to go over to Matt Aldridge. How are you, Matt?
Good, thanks, lads. Thanks for having me on. Long time listener, short time fan, but excited.
Did you write them jokes out?
I must have very well. We've been excited, really listening. Like he's like probably our number one fan.
Just while the viewers are probably homing in on, I want to try and divert away from the forehead. What football topic you got on there, Matt?
This is my Bury AFC shirt, fellas. The Phoenix club of the mighty Shakers, who unfortunately went into administration. So, yeah, my team now.
Anyway,
one of many.
That's enough about you. Right, so you watched our feature game this week, which was Liverpool versus Everton. I don't want to dwell on this too much, if I'm completely honest. So hit us with it, Matt. What did you watch?
Yeah, so I watched the Liverpool-Everton game, obviously the Merseyside derby. Really enjoyed it, actually. I think I enjoyed the win for Everton more than anything else. I know one half of SJ would have as well. So, but yeah, I thought it was a good game, actually. Very, very even derby game. to be honest. It's just that I think Everton's possession was clinical. Liverpool looked a bit scrappy and a little bit lost. Obviously, it didn't really help with the early goal from Radisson, who finished actually like he'd top, 25, 30 goals a season striker. Hammers got the ball from some sloppy play from Liverpool. Let's be honest, looked like they were playing head tennis in the playground. Hammers got the ball, slotted it through, really good ball, really good finish. Alisson had no chance. You do wonder though if.
Just on that, Matt, I was going to say, to be fair, it was a decent finish. You're completely right. I think it all stemmed from, when I remember back, it was Thiago went to cushion it, didn't he? Misheaded it, and then it kind of went back, forward. Liverpool had a chance, because I've heard a lot of Liverpool fans grumbling about Thiago, but Liverpool had 2 opportunities after that to clear it, and then Hammers has produced a worldie pass. And you just got to hold your hand up and just say it's a great goal. Yeah,
I mean, like you say, Thiago, who was supposed to be the man that's come in and steady the ship, he started well, didn't he? And then he's just gone off the boil a little bit. And there has been rumblings that why does he keep playing and why is he starting? And it was ultimately his mistake that led to the goal. But yeah, I mean, Everton coming into the game, the record was 7 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses, I think, out of 11. So I think Liverpool underestimated him a little bit. Looked like they were set up to just defend all over the pitch. Radisson was absolutely class at just closing everyone down. And I think he must have been told, the lads at the back, it was their 17th centre-back pairing of the season until, unfortunately, Henderson went off, which didn't help things. 18 then, it was Kabak and the young lad...
Nat Williams.
Yeah,
Williams. Yeah. And, they just looked a bit rocky. You have to say the defending from Everton was outstanding. Keane, man of the match, rightly so for me. And Godfrey at the back with him. Again, outstanding, just blocked everything. The main point for me, I think, coming away from the game was Pickford. If the fans were in, I know Stu loves talking about the 12th man and the fans and the effect they have, which, I'm sitting on the fence, but I disagree with. If they were in the stadium, Pickford, it was clear to see he was fired up for it. 2 really good saves from Henderson and Trent from outside the box in the first half, which game was gone then. If those 2 go in, game's Liverpool's. Everton took the chance as well, but I don't think they created enough to come back from 2-0 if those have gone in. But like I was saying, if the fans are in the stadium, you've got that pantomime villain there of Pickford, who ruined Liverpool's season and Van Dijk's season right in the reverse fixture.
Is he still alive?
Would that have had an effect on him?
It was actually...
Well, he's quiet. He's quiet, and I think he was next door to me a few days ago, just running around. But yeah, I mean, again, I think that could have had a big impact. And obviously, second half, Liverpool had the lion's share of possession, 71% possession. But like I said at the start, they just didn't do anything with it. I was watching it, and they looked uncharacteristically Liverpool. They looked like a team that just didn't know what to do with the ball. Do we pump it forward? Do we go into the middle? And when Henderson was on in that first half, he looked like he was sort of playing in 2 different positions, centre back, but he was pushing so far forward that I actually had to check the lineup and see, was he centre half, was he centre midfield? So that was another outlet that they lost when Henderson went off. But for the 29% possession that Everton had, every time they got it and they fired a few passes back and forth, they looked comfortable. Obviously it was a bonus for all the fantasy football fans when Calvert-Lewin came back on from his injury a couple of games out. It was the young lad centre half Phillips that sort of cost the goal. Really, he dived in on Radisson, didn't he, in the Everton half? Yeah. He's run through, put a ball through to Calvert-Lewin. He's done really, really well, actually. Didn't look like he'd had any time off. Rounded the keeper. And then Trent, I don't know what he's thinking, but he's just sort of sliding in recklessly. It was a collision, and I know that I think it was a Stonewall penalty. Absolutely disgusting. Should have been a red card. But the refs give it straight away. And to his credit, he did spend 0.4 of a second at the VAR to check, was he right? And he was right. He was right. Trent slid in. People have said Calvert-Lewin actually tripped over Trent, but that's what a penalty is. If he wasn't there, he would have put it into the back of the net. And for me, the kicker was actually Trent in the slow motion. Even though Calvert-Lewin's going over, he's lifted his leg as if to say, well, I'm going to get you. I'm going to bring you down. But yeah, the second half substitute, Sigurdsson, who came on for Gomez, who, again, I think was pretty lucky that he didn't get sent off in the game. He's on for just under an hour. And I do think credit goes to the referee because he did let a lot of things go. It was a derby game, so has he been told, don't book as many players? I know certain Liverpool fans were a bit disgusted at the time that no one was getting yellow cards. No names mentioned there, but
who's that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I tell you what we need to do is you just need to stop. We need to go back to his penalty. We're not scapegoating over this.
I tell you what, I'll you text me and say, have you seen it? Because I didn't see it live. I looked at it. There's two things I think from points I'd like to make. Personally, I don't think it's a penalty. I think he's missed him and he's just fallen over it. But it wants to, so that's one thing I think the referee's got wrong. But then he's given it and he's stood by it, whatever, fine. Then by the point of law, and we discussed this on the pod last week, the week before, he should send him off because it's only not sending off if he doesn't try and play. And he's clearly not trying to play the ball there, so he should have got sent off.
He's played the man, hasn't he? He's played the man. He's not played the ball.
Yeah.
But I think at the time the ref just thought, it's a derby game, given a penalty. He might have got a bit confused, but he's sticking to his guns, which I think's a good decision. I think the penalty was justified.
I'm going to throw this in out, Matt. So, Matt, you're playing a game. The guy runs towards you, plays a 1-2 around you. Okay, and then he carries him running. Are you supposed to get out of his way while he's running, or if he runs into you, is that a free kick? Because you're saying to me that Trent's in the position ahead of Calvert-Lewin, and then Calvert-Lewin's running to his area and falling over him. So if a guy does a 1-2 and he goes to receive the second pass as a defender, you have to get out of the way.
It's a good point, but I think the fact that Trent was on the floor went against him. If he was stood up and Calvert-Lewin ran into him, I think you're absolutely right. Because he's on the floor, it's reckless because he's not in control of his body. And I think that's what's gone against him. But I do agree with you. If he just stood his ground, Calvert-Lewin was into him, it's not a penalty, it's just an accidental collision. But the fact he's on the floor.
It was an accidental collision anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. The reason he's given it is because he's gone that initial sliding in. But anyway.
I say, Sigurdsson slotted the penalty 2-0. That's the first. I wanted to get this stat in. It's the first. I know you've heard it many, many times. First time Liverpool have lost 4 league games.
Breaking up, can't hear it. Breaking up.
1923. But, they play Sheffield United. I know you're not the biggest fan of them, Jack, but would Liverpool take a point? If you said to Liverpool fans now, would you take a point to not get that 5 losses in a row? Well, or another league loss, would you take it? I think a lot of them would.
Before you go, thanks for that. Before you go, where they're going to finish? This is the big question. I'm not bothered about top 4 and that. Who is going to finish higher, Everton or Liverpool?
They'll probably say Leeds now. Yeah,
Leeds top 10. I do think current form, Everton, they've got a game in hand, they can go 3 points clear. Liverpool need Van Dijk. That's the point. They need the steady the ship, and with the 18 centre-back partnerships, no matter what level you're playing in, if that is changing all the time, you need that that sturdiness. But yeah, I'm going to throw it out there, put a coffee on it, another one. I think Everton will finish 1 place above Liverpool this year.
There you go.
Don't know where in the table, but 1 place higher.
Okay, Matthew, say goodbye to our listeners before you depart.
You've heard it here first. Thanks, Matt, for your time.
Yeah, cheers, lads. Thanks a lot.
And yes, I can't believe it worked.
Trust me, I told you that.
Yeah, never doubt, a media guy.
Yeah. What do you reckon? He doesn't like Liverpool, does he?
Doesn't have a clue about rules.
What the one thing from that?
Still not a penalty for me.
Yeah, we won't talk about the penalty. We have to add that thing. One thing for me, and I think the Thiago thing's quite poignant in terms of, and I know not that I agree with him. Richard Keys has been on to the Express saying he slags Liverpool down. I'm not going to talk about that. We'll talk about Matt mentioned there the amount of centre-half partnerships has been. Now in that January window, I understood before that emergency Henderson had to go play there, and he did a decent job, as I'm sure, because I think I mentioned to you all about Milner playing there.
Yeah.
But once he'd signed, once some of the others had played, that Nat Williams in particular done okay. Yeah. The other young lad with the Reece Williams looks a bit fallible to me, but that Nat Williams looks okay. He's then gone and bought Nat Phillips. Sorry, yeah. He's then gone and bought
Calvert.
Got him on loan, and the lad from Preston, your neck of woods. And then still insists on playing Henderson there. Yeah. When clearly, I think the lack of, not that Henderson has the creativity, but the lack of drive and that pace and that power that we're renowned for Liverpool the last 3 or 4 years. Henderson is the one who drives that, and I think I agree. Maybe a brand new centre-half partnership not ideal, but nothing's been ideal, has it?
No. I think you're right with that, but I think there's things that we don't see on the training ground that may worry Klopp and just go, I don't want to risk inexperience in this, because you've got a lad that's only played Championship, and then you've got 2 young lads in Phillips. Is good at winning headers, which is probably the best thing to describe for, and Reece Williams a little bit better with in and around the ball, but I think Williams will benefit. Reece Williams will benefit for when Van Dijk comes back, because he has a similar type of stature to him and a little bit of a presence like him. So we'll see what happens, but we're going to leave Liverpool there because we've probably droned on about them too much. But other big results that weekend: Wolves on Saturday beat Leeds, which then reversed itself because Leeds managed to pick up points against Southampton later in the week. Southampton drew 1-0 with Chelsea. Burnley 0-0 with West Brom. We've talked about the Liverpool game. Fulham beat Sheffield United, which
they're dragging themselves out.
Yeah, Fulham are trying to make a little bit of a fight of it, so it makes it interesting. West Ham 2, Spurs 1. A little bit of a strange game. It felt like you were gonna. I text you, didn't I, saying you'll either get one in here or West Ham will go and score, and it neither that kind of happened.
No, I think probably on balance of the 2 halves we probably deserved a point, I would say, but again, defensive errors. I question the goalkeeper, particularly the first goal. And then again, like I empathise with Jose, because there are some basic errors happening from goalkeeper and particularly defenders without any question. But you're picking the team, man. If you're seeing your goalkeeper making that, change it. Get my man in. Or do you know what I mean? I don't feel sorry from there. And again, very disappointed not for Bale and that not to get longer. But what I would say is Bale did look sharper, better, and great free, great header by Morgan, by the way.
It was a really good header. I don't think Crespo's covered himself in glory though.
No, absolutely
not. Let the little lad get a run on you.
Poor result. There's no and now I think as confident as I've been, or that confidence has been wilting somewhat about us finishing top 4. I think it's gone now. I don't think we'll finish top 4 at all.
What makes it interesting is Villa without Grealish couldn't get a result against Leicester.
Nothing did that.
Good result for Leicester, winning 2-1. Arsenal went 1-0 down to Man City. A little bit of a stronger performance from Arsenal, looked a little bit better defensively, but didn't really
the first 15 just stood off them like they were scared of them, didn't they?
United, I haven't even remotely, I'm not even interested in looking at what that game was, but I know they won 3-1. Brighton then went at home and lost to Crystal Palace, which is a bad result for Brighton, because just need they could pick up a few points here and there.
Particularly with Fulham looking like they're on the ball, but
a bit of a go of it. And then, as we mentioned before, Leeds turned over Southampton. So a good result there for Leeds, which puts them back into the top 10, which is where Matt expects them to be. You notice how he's now focusing on top 10, considering he was so adamant.
He said 6, didn't he?
Top 4 was the first shout, and then he went top 6, then it's gone top 10.
And you invited him on as our football expert.
I didn't say expert. He was a panellist to review.
Panellist.
Games this weekend. 27th is Man City, West Ham, West Brom, Brighton, Leeds, Villa, and then Newcastle, Wolves are that evening game on the Saturday. And then on Sunday, Palace, Fulham, Leicester, Arsenal, Spurs at home to Burnley, Chelsea at home to Man United, which is an interesting game because Chelsea seem to have picked up a little bit.
We need that a draw, I think.
And then Sheffield United host Liverpool. All I will say is it's probably better Liverpool playing away from home than it is playing at Anfield at the moment, because at home we can't get anything. So I predict us to do alright in that game. And then Everton Southampton, which is another one that you think Everton fans will be like, well, yes, we should be alright, but Southampton can be one of the funny teams that just turn up and
with Ings up front, you need a sniff.
It gives you half a chance, doesn't it? And then there's games Wednesday and Thursday, so it's a double game week then.
It's for some. I think some of these games are the ones that we missed, like Spurs Fulham, for example. Fulham Spurs is one of the COVID ones, so I think they're filling in. But
so I'll just quickly run through the last ones. Man City, Wolves, who expect City to do alright there. Burnley at home to Leicester, Sheffield United, Villa. This is going on to Thursday or Wednesday late night for you guys. Palace, Man United, Fulham, Spurs, West Brom, Everton, and then a Friday night game. It's not a Thursday night game for us. So Liverpool versus Chelsea, which again, that's a nice one.
I think we're going out for dinner, aren't we, next Thursday night?
We are, yes.
We could time it, Irish Village.
Right, you know what you've done now. Whatever.
They won't listen. They don't
They don't
listen.
listen yet. Okay, we'll do this.
They're supportive, but they're not that supportive.
Let's tie meal off to, let's go for a meal for about 9 o'clock-ish.
Yeah.
And then we can draw the meal out till about 10:30.
10 up. Fulham Spurs first.
Yeah, we'll tie the meal off at 9 o'clock. Mr. Fulham's yeah, if we time this right, should be able to get both games in. But yes.
I think actually, back to our two teams, particularly the weekend, I know Liverpool, Chelsea, difficult fixture for you later in the week, but I think massive opportunity to get back on track. Spurs have got a decent run now, if you just go on points and ability.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool have as well. Chelsea at home might be a bit tricky, but it's a massive opportunity to get back on winning.
I think when it gets to next Friday, I think we'll definitely know if Liverpool and Spurs are winning a chance at top 4.
Yeah.
Because if both lose these next 2 games, then
Spurs need 6 points. If Spurs are off 6 points, then they'll struggle to finish top 8, I would imagine.
Yeah,
100%. Anyway.
Right, we'll go to Arabian Gulf.
At least my other team's doing better in the Gulf League.
Yes, okay, so yeah, this is good news. So Arabian Gulf League, both teams actually doing much better than
Yeah, who are Liverpool and Spurs anyway?
Yeah, I've got a Shabab Al-Ali tattoo on my shoulder.
I wonder what that was at the pool last week.
So last week's game, week 17, Al Nassr went to Ajman and won 3-0.
Yes.
Sharjah dropped more points, drew 1-1 with Al Dafra.
I told you.
Al Jazeera drew 3-3 with Benias, so opportunities for them to close weren't taken. Shabab Al-Ali are just sneaking up the table slowly, winning 2-1 away at Hatta. Al Wada 3, Kofrakan 0. Al Wassel 4,
what a game.
Kalba 4, sounds like an awesome game. Al Ain 1-3-1 at Fujairah. So the table now starts to take a little bit more of an interesting shape. So Sharjah and Al Jazeera are currently level points, 37 each, and actually play each other in the next game.
Well, so why are they top then?
Sharjah, because they've got more points, Jack. That's what our leagues work.
No, they haven't. They've got equal points.
Maybe it's a head-to-head. I think you're about why they top. I think they'll have a head-to-head.
Because they've got a poorer goal difference and scored less goals.
Yeah, maybe it's goals.
Maybe goals against in this league.
Possibly. But yeah, Sharjah versus Al Jazeera is actually this weekend.
What a fixture.
So, top of the table clash there. Benias are currently 3rd place. They're 4 points behind the top 2
they
now.
missed their opportunity, didn't they?
Yeah, but then the strange thing is now that Al Ain are now on 30 points, only 7 points behind top. Al Nassr are only 7 points behind top. The Shabab Al-Ali are only 8 points. I told
you look Shabab Al-Ali, the team, you watch.
Yeah, and then it just seems to be maybe Al Wada and Al Wassel have just dropped a little bit away from now, and Kalba even further away, and then the bottom still Hatta.
5 points from 17 games.
But is that,
why don't you put your
boys? Have you boys got a Hatta this weekend? Yeah, you have. Oh.
Yeah. Why don't you, at home as well? Why don't you put your job application in for them Hatta manager's job?
Hatta manager's job.
Yeah, it's good
for travel. I'm committed to my Gems job.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So that concludes our football section. We are now on an event that's actually happening in Dubai, which actually starts next weekend.
Yeah, tell us all about. You know more about it than me.
Yeah. So
tell us about the Dubai school games.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, what's happened is there has been absolutely no sport happening in Dubai, obviously since lockdown.
School sport, that is.
Yeah, school sport this time last year. So Dubai School Games, or Dubai Sports Council, have teamed up with ESM, and they've created a Dubai School Games competition, which is across a whole host of different sports, and that is due to start next weekend. Dead bizarre is that the opening 2 competitions are going to be socially distanced events, because obviously we can't play team sports at the moment. But the opening competitions, Queen's Gambit, I said that to you. What would you think?
Chess,
that is correct.
Brilliant. You loved that show, didn't you, by the way?
Oh, it was great.
I watched it because you told me to watch it.
Yeah, I actually know the Sicilian dance and the Rui also defence.
Yeah. What's the other one? What's the first one?
Rui.
Is that Sicilian? The Sicilian.
Sicilian is the defensive for a certain colour.
Yeah.
Rui Hoya is the defensive.
I'll be honest, I don't understand it, but it was a good show.
Yeah. So the chess championship opens up along with, really bizarre, which is slightly controversial. Some people may say, I'm all for it. It's esports.
Yeah.
So they're playing in a FIFA competition. I know it's not for a traditional PE teacher, it's not getting out and being active, but the hand-eye coordination is up there with everything else. yeah, the processing part is, and they say the adrenaline that actually kicks around the body whilst playing the game is equal to playing sport. So there's a lot of science behind that. So yeah, chess and esports starts in the next couple of weekends. So if you're a parent sat listening to this now, yeah, by all means, if you go on to Dubai School Games website, what you can do there, you'll find if your school's registered, and you can actually register your child to be involved in them events.
Maybe we should get in contact with them and see if we can cover some of the things.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So I'll just run through some of the other ones because there is actually a really nice range of sports and activities. So we've got volleyball going on, there'll be swimming at some point, table tennis, basketball, water polo. There's going to be football, netball, determination games, which is something that myself and Matt Thomas at school actually brought forward. And we got recognised for that, so more Matt Thomas than me. But determination games for children with learning difficulties. Athletics championship, cross country championship, cycling championship, which is a new one, and then also golf championship.
Very good. Of course, golf and cycling big out here. Currently, the Tour of the UAE is actually happening as we speak.
Yeah, so as you guys will be listening, there's actual partial road closures, or they call them running road closures, tomorrow in Dubai. So just if you're listening to us in the morning in the car, make sure you check your roads. I tell you what, we could have our own full-on TV site here, couldn't we? Doing sport, doing maybe weather at some point, road closures, traffic accidents. If you drop us a text if you see any accident, but make sure it's safe to do so before you do that.
Remember this time last year they were talking of the UAE tour that it came through Silicon, didn't it? Which is where we live in Dubai.
Yes.
I've got some of a video, and then that's when COVID sort of broke within amongst some of the cyclists, didn't it?
Yeah, and then it wasn't long after that. I think we are probably about 2 weeks away from where started our first closure. Yeah, our spring break was brought forward, so we're nearly a year through. So that looks really good, really impressive. Yeah, and WSO, the school we work at, plenty of entrance in all those? Yeah, so we're entering across all teams, across all age groups, right through from primary through to secondary. So I think for PE staff, we're itching. It sounds really bizarre, is that not having competitive sport, it kind of feels like you're not doing your job properly. So being a PE teacher, it's awesome to be in the lessons and being active, and we are one of the more active schools in Dubai. It does feel that when you're not doing events and fixtures, it feels like you're leaving work too early. You know, like if I stay behind, I do a little bit of admin work and catch up, and I leave at 4 o'clock, it still feels like I'm leaving too early, because we're normally used to being there 5, 6, potentially if I've got a cricket match, anything to 7 and 8 o'clock. Including that one at King's, it was around this time last year. Was it midnight finished? Thanks Jack for helping me out that game.
What we're doing. So we got this next weekend. Have we got a chess player?
It's chess is the week after. I think it's chess. Oh, sorry, chess is this weekend, and then it's FIFA the weekend after.
And we've got entrance in that.
Yes, we will be having. Yeah. So what happens is the parents put their entrance. So as a school at that point, we don't actually manage the chess and the FIFA teams. They actually put themselves forward.
But they represent the school.
But yeah, so they're registered with the school. So if you are interested, please go on the Dubai School Games website and do that. The teams events will be run through the next school.
We've got a nice image of what we're putting on media things.
Yeah, we'll have a look. They're all provisional dates, but yeah, we'll put some links on there.
Really good.
Yeah, really good.
Really
right,
good.
Sporting Jibberish talking point.
I've called it gamesmanship in football.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Right, okay. So I am sick and tired of 2 or 3 things. Alright? 1, diving. Your mate Salah's probably the best at it at the minute. He should really go into the Olympic diving competition. He'd be good at that. And particularly this, and all clubs do it, and even the diving or whatever, and all clubs do it. This kind of crescendo of noise and activity, trying to get other people booked. I just cannot stand it, and it doesn't help the referees. I'm critical of referees, as you well know, and rightly so in some areas, but what doesn't help them is this constant barrage of them. And you look back to the iconic images of Keane and Neville surrounding the referee in those late 90s, early 2000s. It doesn't help the referees at all, and I think they've got to stop it. They've got to go down the route of rugby union. That only maybe the captain can speak to them, or you got to start sending a few people off, because that's not part of the game. As much as for me VAR is spoiling it, some of the behaviour of the footballers, and you can call it gamesmanship or you like, it's just not on.
So I get what you're saying there, but you mentioned there that people need to. Who's more responsible? Is it the authorities who should be dealing with it, or should it be the players, or should it be the clubs? I'm just wondering.
I think a whole combination. I think all stakeholders should be responsible for it. I think there should be stronger management of it in terms of the authorities, and I think that managers or clubs should take a stand. Should be sitting there and say we're not doing this anymore. And I think players should take some self-responsibility. Graham Potter sort of heard on it in an interview I heard last week, saying that look, it's not good. We give referees a hard time, and maybe that's the society thing, or maybe it's just not quite right.
Maybe if they brought the ruling in, but if there's no ruling in, you're going to do everything you possibly can. You're talking about players that are trying to keep themselves in jobs, they're trying to keep themselves multimillionaires or get themselves big contracts, to win championships, to win leagues, to strive to do better, bonuses. All this is all linked into the game of football, and if you don't win that game, then you're not going to get there. So they're not breaking the rules, or if they are breaking the rules, the referee's not punishing them for it. So if you know this as well as anybody else, if you can get away with something, you're going to keep pushing it. Yes, you are correct. Aspect of diving is a big no-no. People asking for yellow cards. They actually brought a rule in. If you ask for a yellow card, you can get booked.
Yeah. See, that action's actually stopped, but they're still doing it.
Well, I saw Regulon do it the other day.
I did it, yeah.
The other day. But no, there's never any punishment. So until the powers that be at the top do that, I would do exactly the same. You're going to tell me that you're going to get into a tussle, and let's imagine this is the last minute of the World Cup final. You're losing 1-0, and you've got a slight touch on you, and you're at a really bad angle. You're going down. Even if it's a minor pull or a tug, you're going to do everything in your power to give yourself the best opportunity. Look at Suarez, that handball against Ghana in the World Cup. Handballed it on the line, stopped a goal, got sent off. The resulting penalty they missed, Uruguay went through.
Yeah.
Okay, that is gamesmanship through and through.
But he got punished for that, though.
He got punished, but then was that a fair punishment?
No, because I think the goal should stand in that.
And
but that's the law, isn't it?
On that aspect as well, you're calling out football players against rugby players and saying that rugby players do X, Y, and Z, but they'll quite happily knock each other out. But I was going to mention, was Root not giving the umpire a bit of grief yesterday?
I know we're not immune to it. Even myself, I just think at the minute it's just two in our faces.
Yeah. So Root, 2 decisions went against him. And he's gone probably over the line.
I think so, but I mentioned Cody last week and nothing happened to him. I'm interested, I don't know, I've not really seen it, but yeah, Root was very visibly unhappy. And I think, and that's another thing with technology, I don't want to carry on with it in terms of the umpires calling cricket, but I think more what Root was talking about or was upset about was the quickness of the process, that they've got all these cameras, and for both incidents, when they've gone for a Stokes catch in this instant and a stumping, I believe, although I didn't see it, that basically the third umpires had one look at that first initial and gone, not out. When the process, you've got all these cameras, but you're right, he shouldn't be showing dissent. And I know David Lloyd Bumble, he is of the opinion that umpires should have yellow and red cards, and that they should be banned from that office. Could you imagine?
I'm going to wait for you and Matt Aldridge again with you.
We've got that to come. But
just on my point of view is that if you're going to go down that route, unless it's a rule-breaking situation, everybody's always going to find loopholes in the system. Sam Allardyce is one of the masters of doing that. When they brought the offside rule in, what did he do? Was when you were then, it was the case the person that was interfering with the player was offside, he dropped players offside to then run back onside to cause confusion.
Yeah.
And it wasn't breaking the rules.
No.
Yeah.
But
it may be that case of, that's potentially sportsmanship. Gamesmanship. And then there was elements of, as a story that I knew from when I was back at North End, was the John Beck, old school manager.
Yeah, he was at Lincoln City.
Yeah, he used to grow the grass in the corners really long, so then the ball would hold up. But obviously opposing teams that only visit the ground once a year wouldn't be aware of that, so they think the ball's rolling out, slow down, wingers would just keep running, ball would hold up and they put grass in. Then also at half time, if the weather was really hot, he'd make the change when it was really cold, and then vice versa, if it was cold, make them really hot. So the players that come in, their body temperature can't regulate, so therefore not giving the rest period of recovery that they need. So we talk about gamesmanship. It's gamesmanship, and it'll happen up and down every single sport. Rugby, there's the occasional hit that goes in off the ball, there's this and that, and there's also happens across all sports. But until it's an official rule breaking, It's always going to happen. Somebody's going to find a loophole in the system.
Yeah. So, I still think diving and that calling for a yellow card to go too far at the minute. But anyway,
all I'm going to say is if it's on the line and you're getting your team to the World Cup final, or if it's worth a multi-million-pound contract, every single person will do it.
See what does everybody else think? Get in contact. Right, he's back, isn't he?
Yes.
He's back.
Wow,
the man is back. So, Ian Larkin, now proud father of Aoife, is back with his. We've given him 2 weeks paternity leave, I should say. He's going okay, but he's back with his next tip, or his first tip for a while. So
I don't know how this is going to work with my mic. I'll have to put it up here and see if it works. So
it should do.
This is another attempt at technology going wrong.
It's fine.
It's great to be back. I've been away for a few weeks. Kept my head down. A few changes in the fantasy team for the old jam season, but glad to be back. Glad to bring back a few tips as well. And obviously, I'm at the top of the world at the minute. You've all will have heard my news, seen my news. So absolute buzzing. 100 points last week. It's not often you put out a century, a centurion, a captain's not, but 100 points. Come on, you mighty Leeds. Come on, the Banff, banging them in. This week, lads, double game week, so I'm going to give you one bit of advice, okay, Boothie, because I know you could do a few more points. Luffers, you've copied my team anyway, so pay attention to all the other fans out there. Listen up, because this is absolute jam. So, triple captain, lads, get it played, double game week. I'm thinking you've got Kenny Logan's lad, Gabby's nephew, Gun Logan, get him in, maybe triple captain, or perhaps the man from United, the avid Corrie fan himself, Bruno Fernandes. But then you can't forget Harry Kane either. So I think if you go with any of those three, triple captain this week, or even Calvert-Lewin on a sneaky one, I think you're going to have some absolute jam, boys, okay? You won't regret it. Play your triple captain. Make sure you maximise your double game week. So final message from old Larko and the jam season, lads. All right? Final push for the season. Final push to the top of the league. I see a few lads above me. I'm here to take the scalp, so I want them off the mantelpiece, lads, all right? I'm coming in hot, and don't you forget that, okay? Vaccines flying in, pints flying in. We're having a big weekend this weekend. Let's go.
He's pumped in it. He's pumped in it. It's because rugby's back. He's a new dad. He's had his first dose of his vaccine last night.
So rugby's back. Did he get dropped out of the squad?
Oh, he's captain the seconds this week. But I think it's because he's tens. So
is that what it is? He's not in the
senior player. But he's up for it.
Sounds like you're making excuses for him.
I'm just trying, mate. Right, weekly. We've got a few weekly winners to confirm.
Yeah. So Jared McCarthy won last week with 112, 113 points, which was an awesome score. And this week, Larkin actually did get 100 points. He's correct on that, but he also got 100 points with Jason Smith. But unfortunately, the rules state that we then go to his captain. Larkin, as I mentioned, had Bamford, and Smithy had a Leeds player which scored him 30-something points.
Rafinha, was it?
I think it was Rafinha. But yeah, Smithy has won it based upon the fact that it went down to his captain.
Very good, Smithy.
But we also, if you haven't seen yet, which you should have done, is the cup draw has been made.
The cup draw, did the live cup draw last night, so Wednesday evening with Stu's lad Harry was the Rod Stewart of the evening, and so on. It's a live draw there, you can see it, and then we'll put it on that system on that website.
Yes.
Once we know the other groups,
I just brought Smithy's team up. It was Dallas.
Oh, Dallas,
your favourite man.
He was the one who did me at the cup because Ronell had him.
Jack was after the first leg was sitting quite comfortable. Was like, yeah, I think I'm alright. And I'm like, I'm only 9 points up on my guy. I'm a bit concerned because he's higher in the league than me.
I was 20 something up.
And then Leeds played. We all went to bed and woke up the day after and just going, I think he's done me. So then I checked the scores. I was like, yeah, he's done you.
I lost to an Arsenal fan.
He lost to an Arsenal fan, but it was like by 6 or 7 points by the end.
Yeah, because he did have. I had Bamford, but not as captain, and Ronell had Dallas. I don't think he had his captain, but of course Dallas scored, and he's down as a defender, but he's playing in midfield, isn't he? At the minute. So
Yeah, so group stages first game is this weekend, so make sure you are ready and aware of that.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. I've got in my group, I've got top of league.
Yeah. There's couple of groups of death, and the group A is a group of death.
Yeah, Dan Barron, I think I've got in mine. Who's currently top of league.
But I'm, as I said last night on the video, come on Pasco, Wales, Golf Madrid. Yeah. Tipping you. Righto.
Yeah, that's another one done and dusted.
That's it. Number 43 gone. What are you doing tonight, Stu?
Nothing. I think I might get rid of just going mad at me. She said to me, it's just completely off before we disappear. She said, let's put some dye on your beard. Why? She went, because it's all white at the bottom. I'm like, I'm going to have a shave. She's like, yeah, we still dye it anyway. I'm like, it's going to be grey when it grows.
You're going to bleach your chin.
You're going to bleach inside my face.
On that note, Stu's off to bleach his chin. I'm going to go out, meet the wife for dinner, get involved with our debates, because at the end of the day, Stu,
what do we know?